Smart. I'm the SVP of Sales across the West and Central regions at GumGum. I'm so thrilled to be here today with Ryan Sullivan from GoodRx at the Brand Innovators Marketing Leadership Summit at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas. I was going to say, Ryan, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Ryan Sullivan. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of GoodRx. GoodRx is an amazing company that helps Americans save time and money on their prescriptions. And happy to be here at South by Southwest to talk a little bit about our company and what I'm doing here.
Great. Well, so nice to meet you. Healthcare affordability is dominating headlines, and prescription costs are under more scrutiny than ever. So it seems like a really critical time for GoodRx and your mission. So can you tell us a little bit about how you're modernizing the journey that has been somewhat frustrating for consumers thus far?
Yeah, there couldn't be a more important time. We see these headlines all the time. Consumers that are struggling to afford medication. We're in this cycle that every year prescription coverage from insurance covers less, drug prices go up, and consumers on the margin are getting squeezed. They're trying to find a way that they can save time and money on those prescriptions and, importantly, access them. There's more than 1 billion prescriptions that are left at pharmacy counters every year, and that's crazy. And a lot of that is because folks get there, they don't know what the price is going to be. They lean on their insurance or their benefit, and it's still out of reach. And so GoodRx really exists to solve that pain point, make it easier for folks in that moment. And we started with this simple idea that pricing is different at every pharmacy. It can get confusing. You don't know what it's going to be. And one pharmacy down the street would have it at one price and another might have it at a better price. And we aggregated that information to bring a digitally modern experience to that transaction. And we've evolved from there. We service quite a number of consumers, more than 25 million in 2025. And we've saved those people $14 billion last year. So we really are very focused on this mission to make it easier. And there couldn't be a more important time, as you said.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine this day and age going to the pharmacy counter and really not knowing what you're going to pay. Mm-hmm. It feels a little bit like the Wild West. So very appropriate that we're having this conversation here in Austin. So let's talk about Wrangler Universe and your Savings Wrangler campaign that you launched last year. So how did you guys develop it? How did you guys come up with the idea? And what was behind using like a big character-led strategy?
There's a lot in there that we'll get into. The Savings Wrangler itself started with a more traditional marketing path. We said, hey, we really want to save more people more money. We built a comprehensive brand strategy, and the first thing that we had was a business ambition. Where do we want to be in the year 2030? And in order to get there, we realized, wow, we have to open up our aperture. We have to reach a much wider audience than ever. And our advertising has to work harder than ever with the budget we have to capture attention and raise awareness that you don't have to go to the prescription clinic. You don't have to endure this experience that feels very much like the Wild West, where you don't know, it's uncertain, it seems lawless and unpredictable, all those things. And in that process, we built a comprehensive brand strategy, and it revealed certain things to us, that some of which we knew, but some we got a lot sharper on from talking to our consumers. And in that process, there was a desire, even the idea of the Wild West was mentioned in some of the consumer interviews and research we did. There was also a desire to really be clear in what we stood for. What's our role? And in that process, we identified this archetype as a fearless ally. We're someone that's on the side of the consumer, but we really want to do that by bringing everyone along. We want to be a friend. We want to be a complement to someone's insurance. Sometimes insurance works for you, great. And many people have insurance. Most of our customers do. But there's other times where insurance doesn't work, or it leaves you at a high price, and GoodRx is the complement to that. And so this idea of prescription drugs feel like the Wild West, that GoodRx wants to be a fearless ally, that we stand for clarity and control. We make it easy to save time and money. We distilled all that down, and we acknowledge that healthcare advertising as a whole sometimes fails to get attention. It's a pretty formulaic process, and there's good reasons for that. It's a heavily regulated category. And so we decided, how can we take that brand strategy and bring it to life in a way that's resonant, that gets attention? We decided to lean into subtle uses of humor, not like knee-slapping beer commercial humor, but tasteful, charming, warm, endearing humor. We felt, well, look, mascots are a timeless element of marketing. Why couldn't we have one too? And it seemed like a great opportunity to really cast that fearless ally persona, that archetype, in a person who we call the Savings Wrangler. She's a cowgirl. no nonsense, frontier wisdom, and charm. And then we went a step further and we decided, having a sidekick for our main character would be great. And we picked an American prairie dog. We call him Dusty Pete. And he's a great way to bring our advertising into other areas like social and do more with those characters. And so the combination of having a really clear brand strategy, identifying this feeling that consumers have that it's like the Wild West, and really trying to work to make it breakthrough and different in combination led us to choosing that motif, the Savings Wrangler universe and the Savings Wrangler campaign, and we couldn't be happier with the results.
I love the idea of taking something that is so regulated and often could be somewhat dry and making it so approachable and fun and loud and attention grabbing. You guys are really a full funnel marketing organization. So how do you think about where you are from, bus stops to social to digital? And how did you kind of come up with that approach and are using data to drive the decisioning of where to be when and how to kind of push this out into market?
I think it's really important for marketers to approach any marketing pursuit, whether it's on the creative side or it's on the distribution or buying side, the media side, to think about what you need to accomplish. In our case, our customers are largely out of market every day. When someone sees a GoodRx advertisement, there's a good chance they're not going to be going to the pharmacy that day. They might go in the next 30 days. They're more likely to go in the next 90 days. But it's not just them. It's their family. It's friends. It's others. Maybe it's someone who works in a clinical setting like an HCP, a doctor, a PA, or a pharmacist. And so we know that all these folks are out there that need to help consumers, or there's an opportunity to talk about prescription savings. And so we have to be full funnel. We have to create demand in your traditional demand generation mediums, those wider reaching channels like linear television, streaming, audio, and everything kind of on the higher end or the side that really gets the word out. And we take a lot of care and attention to make sure that beyond that, we're very visible along the entire journey. So we do things at the point of care in the doctor's office. We work and we use mediums like direct mail or other things that allow us to talk more one-to-one. We have a large CRM program. And we use all of these things in tandem to create the demand that creates a moment or an intention to use GoodRx. It's why it was so important for us to create differentiated advertising with the Savings Wrangler. And then once someone has that moment of need, you don't have to look too far as a consumer to find GoodRx or get a nudge from someone along the journey that GoodRx is the right way to do things. You mentioned data. We ground everything out as a business with data. We like to understand how that system works, the demand generation side and the demand capture side. Some people would say this is brand marketing and performance marketing. That's fine for labels too. But we really think about it as a connected ecosystem. We've worked very hard with modern measurement tools to understand how that upper funnel messaging really feeds into the lower funnel opportunity to convert customers and save people time and money. That's really what we're after.
Exactly. Okay, well, there's a constant stream of content, right? You guys talked about a lot of different places that you are. So how do you think about earning attention in what is just really loud with other advertisers and other people in the space, like standing out differently?
So the Savings Wrangler itself was a really great opportunity for us to stand out. The healthcare advertising, I think if we both closed our eyes and envisioned what a healthcare ad is, it usually is focused on a particular drug or therapy category. It has, it paints a picture of maybe someone who's not well or is someone who is well, and it's thanks to the therapy itself, and it has a lot of disclaimers, and so it doesn't make you feel warm, and it's not warm and approachable. So those are the reasons we decided to try to come up with something differentiated in the Savings Wrangler and focus on that feeling that consumers have. We want to still be a company that's focused on and aware of what consumers are going through. So we want it to be genuine and approachable, but we also wanted to get attention. And so we chose to use like a mascot I mentioned. Yeah. We have audio where we created these jingles or sounds, and we really just tried to roll out a lot of the traditional media and advertising toolbox for our campaign to be resonant, to stand out, be differentiated. And we see that in the data, that when we use humor, we know that there's good industry data behind that gets more attention. And then we see it in our own results when we run those types of campaigns. And so we're really happy with that, and we will continue to do those things and continue to add to the Wrangler platform and ecosystem. One more point on that is this wasn't a single campaign. This was a choice and direction, how we want to focus our energy. and build up from the great brand we have. GoodRx, we didn't rebrand. We used our logo, our word mark, our colors, all of that stayed the same. We're just adding additional elements that make our brand more salient, and we'll continue to invest in that platform and already have with multiple stories and chapters of the Wrangler and her sidekick Dusty Pete, and you'll continue to see those going forward.
I love that. I love the idea of familiarity and staying the same, but also creating that connection through friendship. And so you're there when they need you. Exactly. And you're kind of there along the way. I love it. All right, let's talk about the evolution of media. So you said you're excited about older mediums, those kind of having a resurgence. Where are you seeing durability, and what excites you about brand storytelling in places like podcast or episodic streaming?
So I'm always thinking about where are customers, where are people consuming media, and we want to be in those new places. And sometimes as an industry, we get really enamored with the new, and we sometimes oversteer and run to something that has growth potential, is taking off, is a place we want to be, is something we want to take seriously and think about. But we also need to remember that there's still a lot of people that are using and consuming media in traditional places. Live entertainment is still a really good reason to be in linear. Streaming and FAST, which is free ad-supported television, are really good places for a brand like ours, especially for customers that may not want to be paying for premium subscriptions to media companies to avoid ads. There's an opportunity to do that tasteful and not bore them to tears with long pharma advertising. Yes. And so we're there. And you mentioned audio. I think audio, sometimes we don't give it enough credit, that there's a lot of data and evidence to show that this is on a lot. People leave and listen to podcasting, or they fill time on their commute, or on the wherever it might be, or even just a quiet moment at home. People are consuming audio and streaming, and if you can find a way to introduce your marketing, your brand in a moment that's more native to that experience, especially with a podcast, with a host read or something like that, it works really well. And we see it in the data. Again, we ground everything else out with data. And if it didn't perform, we wouldn't be there, but it does. And so that's a great endorsement that these older mediums that have newer ways of delivery are still great places to be.
Yeah, absolutely. At GumGum, we are very leaned into mindset, right? And so being authentic and being part of the experience is really a key indicator on a brand's success and a consumer being receptive to the message in the moment. So this has been a wonderful conversation. I love to see how your marketing is looking to give back and be affordable for consumers, and that's obviously something that you're looking to do for the greater good of the world. So love this whole conversation. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me today.
I really enjoyed it too, and we're really steadfast in our mission to save time and money. So any opportunity I get to be able to tell our mission, to represent all the great marketers at GoodRx and the rest of the company that builds our incredible products and services, I always take the opportunity. So thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you.